Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Ivy Martinez and I'm a geek, and today I have a huge, big birthday book haul! My fiance gave me a 5-minute timer and I was able to roam around and grab whatever I want from Barnes and Noble if it was under 5 minutes. I ended up with that, and then as well as some gift cards that I ended up buying books with. I ended up with 26 brand new fabulous books. So let's just go ahead and get started with this big haul because I can't wait to show you guys what I got. Shout out to all my fellow Leo queens. In no particular order, I'm just grabbing the books, the first ones that are here. So I managed to fill, oh, I can't even carry these. I managed to fill not one, but 2 Barnes and Noble bags, the big ones. So let's get started. The first book that I got, this is actually one from Amazon, and this is called Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. So this is ever since Fourth Wing, I have been on a dragon fantasy kick, and this one is supposed to help with this, okay? I don't know what it's about. I know that it has dragons. I know that it has romantasy, and that's all I need to know. And I know that it has smut, I think. Give me smut, give me dragons, give me anything that resembles Fourth Wing. I'm automatically gonna jump on it. The next book, A Song of Sin and Salvation! Okay, by L.H. Blake. Let me tell you why I'm so excited for this. I love Stranger Things. Do you like Stranger Things? Do you love Eddie? This is like an Eddie and Chrissy fan fiction that was like published, and it's on Amazon. So you can get the physical copy, you can get it on your Kindle. I have it downloaded. Kindle Unlimited has it for free, but I obviously wanted a physical copy just because, I mean, come on. Come on. Who doesn't want this beauty on their shelves? If you're a fan of Chrissy or a fan of Eddie, or you always wanted to see what would have happened if they were together, Chrissy's cute. I like her. She's amazing. I love Eddie. I love Eddie. The next book that I got was another one from Amazon. I guess I'll show you the ones that I got from Amazon first. This one is called Court of Blood and Bindings by Lisette Marshall. Honest fiction. A booktuber here that I will link below. She says that she really enjoys this one. She says that the magic system is very different. It's like magic, really cool magic systems that have something to do with like colors, and each different book has to do with a different type of like magic. I got Glint by Raven Kennedy. You guys know that I have Guild. I read Guild or listened to Guild last year. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I heard that just stick through the first one and then it gets way better. So I'm planning to reread it. I have the first book on my shelf right here, or my TBR cart, not my shelf, my TBR cart. So this is book 2 to the Plated Prisoner series. The next book that I got was this one, Fire and Fate by Serena Valentino. You guys probably know that I don't really read too much YA. However, if anything has Hades, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a children's book. I don't care if it's middle grade. If it has Hades, I'm gonna read it. Why? Because I love Hades. I'm obsessed with Hades. Hades is everything. Okay? Hades is life. Hades is love, Hades is life. And this book is the most recent addition to Serena Valentino's series, where it shows villain origin stories. And I'm sorry, I'm like so tempted to do this. Yes. Ah, I love that. Okay. And, okay, so this is hardcover. So when you open it up, oh, how awesome is that? Look at that. And then I got Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is another one that I have on my Kindle Unlimited, but I already know that if, like, they compare this one to Fourth Wing, you guys, quite frequently. I hear so many people compare this to Fourth Wing. Some people say they like Fourth Wing better. Some people, this is like Fourth Wing's biggest competition, even though it came out before Fourth Wing. This is like the Fourth Wing before Fourth Wing was Fourth Wing. You know, the It book before Fourth Wing. You know what I mean. And this one is about a girl who is a human and she is raised by vampires, and then when she gets older she competes in this competition against other vampires because if she wins she gets a wish from the goddess, and then she teams up with this vampire there because obviously she needs help since, you know, she's human and vampires are vampires, so they're obviously more powerful. And this one gives me just like the main character already, the fact that she's like seen as different, she's seen as the underdog, and she teams up with the so-called, I guess, a villain, because, you know, vampires to her are seen as like the bad guys. You know, what's supposed to be her mortal enemy just already just gives me Fourth Wing vibes, you know what I mean? Alright, so now we're moving on to some Barnes and Noble books. First one that we're going to start with is Fantasticland by Mike Brockovin. So this one is about a amusement park and these teenagers. Obviously when you go to amusement parks or like carnivals, you usually see like teenagers running it, and I think a hurricane or something hits it and the Fantasyland or Fantasticland just drifts off, and they go back and they find that these teenagers committed some horrendous crimes because they were on survival mode, and then it's told in like interviews and they all explain like what happened, and it has very like Lord of the Flies vibes, and it just shows you like what humans are capable of when they're in that survival mode instead of like thrive mode, and it just seems so interesting to me and so fascinating. The next book is Notes on an Execution, and this is a national bestseller by Danya Kukafka. I don't know what this one is about. I know that it is a thriller, and I just have heard so many people rave about this. I don't think I've heard one single bad thing about this book, to be completely honest with you. It says Ansel Packer is scheduled to die in 12 hours. What? He knows what he's done and now awaits his execution, the same chilling fate he forced on those girls years ago. Okay, that alone just like sold me. Oh. Another one that I have heard nothing but good things about, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This is another book that I heard is very dark, it's gonna make you cry, it's gonna make you feel things, and I'm in the mood for that. Yeah, because I like to torture myself. Why not? You know, it's fun. The next book. This looks so cute. My fiance actually found this one, and it is called How to Love Your Elf by Carolyn Sparks. This just looks so adorable. It says, Sorsha knew the mission was dangerous. Leaving the safe grounds of her brother's kingdom to support her sister, Sorsha would brave far more than the underhanded ways of the elves, or so she thought, before she is taken hostage. Of course, her captors didn't count on her particular abilities or on the help of the woodsman, the mysterious thief who made his home in the forest. He saw the battle from the trees, saw the soldiers attacking against incredible odds to save a comrade, and then saw the valiant fighter revealed as Princess Sorsha. He can't tell if he wants to kidnap her or kiss her, but despite Sorsha's stubbornness, his convenient honor, and a rebellion on the cusp of full war, something burns between them that neither can let go. Okay, we've heard Fae. We have heard dragons, we have heard vampires. Elf is a little bit new for me, okay? So I'm excited for this one. I got The Ashes and the Star Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is book 2 in the Nightborn duet, or this is book 2 to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Obviously, I already know that I'm gonna like the first one. I already know, like I don't even have to, I already know. Then I got this one right here. This is called The Devil's Playground, a novel by Craig Russell. This one, my fiance was like, you should get that one. You should get that one, because he's a videographer, so anything that has to do with film, with movies, with any of that, he's like, that looks good, even though he won't read it. And this one is a thriller, I believe, and it is about a like cursed, the Devil's Playground. It is some sort of like mystery. I'm explaining this horribly. Yeah, so there was this movie called like The Devil's Playground that was canceled, and they can't find like the tapes of it, and then years later they find like the original tape to The Devil's Playground. It has something to do with like the golden age of Hollywood, like the 1920s and all that, those silent films. and it's a thriller, but it looks good. And I mean, the cover, it's like this like serpent that's like a film thing. How cute is that? The next book that I got is Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. And this is another one that I saw in like a horror and thriller books that are coming out soon. And this is about a gay conversion camp. And that's all I need to know, because I know in reality I have heard horror stories of conversion camps that are ridiculously brutal and horrendous. So to be able to read about this, even though this is technically fiction and horror, I want to just to read about it is something that I kind of want to like submerge myself into, just because I have heard horror stories. I have heard that things do happen in these conversion camps that are horrendous and horrible and that no human should ever have to go through. So I'm very curious about this one. I got another cozy fantasy book, and I got Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. This one is so cute because it's hardcover, but it doesn't have a sleeve. It just looks like a classic book. And it's just so darn adorable. And I believe this is about a professor, this girl professor, who has a fascination with fairies. She is in like this, like, is it like a political debate or something like that against this like guy that's like her enemy, I guess, in this situation. Somehow, I don't know how they're enemies, but point is, I think they're running for the same thing or something like that. And obviously they're gonna end up falling in love, and she likes fairies and she talks to fairies, and yeah, that all that jazz. Sometimes you just want to feel comforted, okay? You just want to feel hugged by a book, and cozy fantasy makes you feel hugged. I am a sucker for villain origin stories. I find that so fascinating when you are able to see how a villain becomes a villain, what led up to that point. And that is what I'm going to get with this next book, Maeve Fly by C.J. Lead. So by daytime, our main character is a pretty much like Elsa, I guess. She works in the happiest place on earth, and she plays a princess in this the happiest place on earth. And by nighttime, she is a serial killer, and she is just crazy, and you just see her descent to madness. And I want to see that. I'm all for it. Next, because of Legends and Lattes, I've developed a love for cozy fantasy. And that's what I'm hoping to get again from the House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is the printed, like the sprayed edges edition, and I just think it's so cute. I believe this one's about like a man, Linnaeus Baker, is a by-the-book caseworker. Yes, so he's a by-the-book caseworker for the Department of in charge of magical youth, and he gets sent to this house or something like that where there's like obviously younger people with powers and like magic. So this is like a magical, a realism, cozy story. I heard it's very heartwarming, very beautiful, and again, just overall really cozy. So I cannot wait to get to this when I am again in the mood for cozy fantasy. I'm hoping maybe like around like November. I want to read a lot of like cozy fantasy, cozy stories. So I might be getting to all this coziness of that back in November. Right, next we got a double threat. I got Twisted Love and Twisted Games. So this is the Twisted Fate or something like that series. This is book 1 and book 2 by Anna Huang. I don't know what this is about. Everybody talks about this book. Everybody talks about this series. Everybody says it's good. Again, don't know what it's about. I don't really want to know what it's about. I want to jump in blindly because then I expect too much. And when it comes to romance, just regular romance, not fantasy romance. I love fantasy romance, but when it comes to regular romance, it takes a while for me. It takes a lot for me to like really invest in it. So I'd rather go in blindly than expect something and not get what I desired. So there's these two books, which I'm pretty sure you can find 5,001 people on BookTube that will explain this series in detail. So the next book that I got is How High We Go in the Dark, a novel by Sequoia Nagamatsu, and I believe this is a compilation of short stories. I believe they're sci-fi short stories. I believe there's one about aliens or slash extraterrestrials in here. This cover is gorgeous. It's a national bestseller. I've heard, I forgot which booktuber, rave about this book, talking about how it was her favorite book of the year so far and that everybody should pick it up. And I was like, all right, you sold me. You sold me. It says, in 2030, a grieving archaeologist arrives in the Arctic Circle to continue the work of his deceased daughter. A researcher who is studying long-buried secrets now revealed in melting permafrost, including the preserved remains of a girl who died of an ancient virus. Once unleashed, the Arctic plague will reshape life on Earth for generations to come, forcing humanity to devise a myriad of inventive ways to embrace the possibility in the face of tragedy. Skyscrapers to hotels for the dead to interstellar starships, Sequoia Nagamatsu takes readers on a journey spanning continents, centuries, and celestial bodies to tell a story about the resilience of the human spirit, our infinite capacity to dream, and the connective threads that tie us all together in the universe. It just looks beautiful. Next, I got a horror book, The Dangers of Smoking in Bed by Mariana Enriquez, author of Things We Lost in the Fire. This is again another compilation of short stories that are horror, and it's tiny and thin and very easy to get through, I'm sure. So there's that one. The next 3 books that I got are a series that I'm so excited for. Darcy Coates is a author that I heard makes amazing horror, and I was sitting down in the Starbucks cafe at Barnes and Noble reading one of these. So when my fiance gave me the 5-minute timer, I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab all the books that they have. And that is the Whispering Dead series. So, they're called the Gravekeeper series, sorry. So book 1 is The Whispering Dead, book 2 is The Ravenous Dead, and then book 3 is The Twisted Dead, and I believe book 4 is coming out this year. So book 1, it says, she hears them whispering. Homeless, hunted, and desperate to escape a bitter storm, Kira takes refuge in a abandoned groundskeeper cottage tucked away at the edge of the cemetery. It's surrounded on all sides by gravestones, some recent, some hundreds of years old, all suffering from neglect. In the darkness, she can hear the unquiet dead whispering. The cemetery is alive with faint spectral shapes, led by a woman who died before her time. And Kira, the only person who can see her, has become a new target. Determined to help put the ghost to rest, Kira digs into the spirit's past life with the help of unlikely friends, and discovers a history of deception, ill-fated love, and murder. The past is not as simple as it seems, and Kira's time is running out. Tangled in a dangerous web, she has to find a way to free the spirit, even if it means offering her own life in return. And this book right away hooks you. It starts off with her like being chased, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? For my last few books, these are all new releases. First is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. This one I am kind of considering returning it and not even reading it, just because it has a 3.4 on Goodreads now. And while the main character's name is Ivy, and it made me so excited to read this, I don't want to waste. I do pay attention to Goodreads reviews because they usually tend to be right for me. I haven't really found, it's rare when it's not, so I don't know if I want to waste my time and read a book that I'm going to end up not liking. So I might just return this one and grab something else. Maybe Yellowface. I've been wanting to read Yellowface. And then I got, and that one is like a thriller about Wes and Ivy, and they're a couple, and basically when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's really bad. And there is a like cop that's watching them because I guess there was some sort of accident that they don't really explain in the synopsis, that somebody ended up dead. And yeah, it's supposed to be about a thriller about us figuring out what exactly went down and this and that. But with the 3.4 stars, it makes me be like, I don't know. Next, I got Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. She wrote Gods of Jade and Shadow, which is the only book that I read by her that and I rated that one, I believe, 3 out of 5 stars, but I wanted to give her another chance because not only is she a Mexican author, I believe she's Mexican, if not Hispanic. I believe she's Mexican though, and I want to read more Mexican authors just because I am Mexican American, and she writes a lot of horror, and I love horror, okay? And a lot of her books are taken place in Mexico, which is where my family's from, and I've been there so many times, and I used to spend every summer there. So I want to read more about, you know, but more by Mexican authors, more books that take place in Mexico. And this is about a cursed film and these actors and this girl named Montserrat, I believe is her name. She was always in love with this, like, this actor, and they grew up being friends, and then they meet this, like, director who made this film about, like, Nazis or something like that, that was like a horror film, and he feels like it ended up cursing him, and so he cast Montserrat in this guy. He wants to refilm this deleted scene, that way the film is completed, but when they film this scene they end up getting cursed, or he believes that they pass the curse on to them, and now the guy actor is seeing his, like, dead ex-girlfriend, and then now our main character Montserrat is seeing things as well, so they believe some sort of, like, curse is happening to them now. Last but certainly not least is Burn the Negative by Josh Winning. There seems to be a common theme these past few months with films, like cursed films, and this one is just like that. It's like Silver Nitrate, it's like The Devil's Playground. All those have to do with, like, cursed tapes and, like, cursed films and cursed shows, and this one is no different. This one says right here, some remakes aren't just a bad idea, they're deadly. Arriving in LA to visit the set of a new streaming horror series, journalist Laura Warren witnesses a man jumping from a bridge, landing right behind her car. Here we go, she thinks it started. Because the series she's reporting on is a remake of the 90s horror flick. A cursed 90s horror flick that she starred in as a child and has been running from her whole life. In The Guest House, which is the name of the film, Laura played the little girl in the terrifying gift, with the terrifying gift of telling people how the Needle Man would kill them. After 8 of the cast and crew died in ways that eerily mirrored the movie's on-screen deaths, the film became a cult classic and ruined her life. Leaving it behind, Laura changed her name and her accent, dyed her hair, and moved across the Atlantic. But some scripts don't want to stay buried. Now, as the body count rises again, Laura finds herself on the run with her aspiring actress sister and a jaded psychic, hoping to end the curse once and for all and to stay out of the Needleman's lethal reach. And this one, I heard good things about this one as well, that even, like, more than halfway through they still don't know if something paranormal is going on or if it can be explained. And this is another one that just seems so darn amazing that, again, I'm hoping to get through or two. Anyways, you guys, that is it. That is my collection of books here. I wish I could pick this up, but I probably can't. I'm gonna try. This is going to go so wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. This isn't even half of them, okay? Ugh. This is not even half. This isn't even half. This isn't even half. Oh my god. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!